me the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we thank thee for the opportunity to be here tonight. We're grateful for the freedoms that we enjoy in this country and for the beauty that surrounds us here in Pleasant View. Grateful for all those who play their part to make it a wonderful place to live. We pray for those who are struggling right now in our community and in our nation and throughout the world, and pray that we can reach out and do our part to help improve the situation of others around us. We are grateful to have so much here, and we pray that we can make decisions that will allow that to continue and that we can go about doing good. And we ask for this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Okay. All right, for the record, for the recorder, Julie and Chad have asked to be excused. Dean, we have not seen as of yet. So we will go ahead. Item 1A is declaration of conflicts of interest. The commission has had the agenda and had a chance to review the items on today's agenda. Do we have anybody that needs to offer a declaration of conflict of interest for tonight's agenda?
Yes, I do for item 2C.
Okay, Jeff has noted that there's a conflict of interest for item 2C, and we will address that at that time. We will go ahead and start with 2A, which is an administrative item, subdivision plot amendment, consideration and amendment to an approved subdivision plot located at 1373 West, 4050 North in the Deer Crest Phase 4, First Amendment subdivision. So we'll turn the time over to Tammy, our planner, to present the information.
Okay. So this evening you'll be discussing and considering a subdivision plat amendment for it's a single lot in the Deer Crest subdivision. And there were some changes that needed to be made to that plat for the storm sewer line that was outside of an easement that needed to be placed back in the easement. There were some adjustments that were made between the homeowner and the developer and the city engineer, public works director, to correct the easement and the location of the storm drain. And that is the purpose of the plat amendment. It also involved the developer adjusting the lot line boundaries for one side of the lot in compensation kind of for all the arrangements and the easements that were necessary there. I've sent you the copies of the plat and the changes that have been made. And staff is recommending approval of the amendment for those reasons. And any conditions of the engineer's review memo would need to be addressed before approval or final approval by DRC.
A real quick question for me, just for the clarification. When we eliminate the easements, we have to get all the letters from everybody else. And this is just the line that we're adjusting. That's just basically our city that has to approve the change, right? And so we've already got that from our city staff. Okay.
Yeah, they've worked with Dana and Tyson
So
closely on getting that.
So as long as Dana's given, here's what I need to take place, and Tyson's the only one we need the approval from, because there's no other utilities that are involved. Are there any other questions for the staff at this time? Petitioner, is there anything else? Are you representing tonight?
Yes.
Okay. Would you? I'm glad someone is, because otherwise, you know me, I'm going to table it. But I'm glad I saw your smiley face come in.
do you have a copy of that plan?
We need your name and address.
Yeah, can you state your name?
Oh,
Just for the record, you've done this before. You should know how this would work. Come on.
my name's Carson Jones. I'm there in Pleasant View. But. Oh. I'm gonna have to walk over and see it. I'm getting blind. So the petitioner has shown a concern right there, yes, that whole east area that we are dedicating to him is all an easement. So I know he wants to just rework that easement a little bit. And I do understand that we've been in this thing for almost 3 years now. And I didn't realize that it was an easement issue about building something on the easement. So if he wanted to build a road going down there, we need to suck that easement in 10 feet.
So was this one of those like that we had in that other subdivision where it's a 20-foot and we're dropping it down to a 10-foot? Is that what we're doing?
It was a
This is
10 foot, now it's
yeah.
40 foot.
It's okay. So what is the change? What's the proposal on it then?
I want, or the petitioner wants to, the west boundary, right, straight up from right there.
This one?
straight up, yes, that boundary, drop it down. He's looking for.
Put it this way.
more for, and right now, according to what the city has enforced or said, or I'm not sure, but that. Yeah.
Have you seen what the engineer has proposed, or is that gonna work within what you? Cause is that gonna
He just
match
wants-
what the
he-
petitioner's
he just
asking
wants
for?
to have more usable space, yes. What we're trying to do, not sure why there's 40 feet of easement on that side. Because one of the pipes we removed altogether, it's gone. And so we just don't need 40 feet of easement there.
So has the petitioner had a chance to review Dana's engineering notes?
Well,
I'm-
this is,
This is all brand new. This is all last couple days.
yeah, because I was gonna say, this is what we were
This is all
presented.
the last couple days where he just said, I can't use that. That doesn't do anything for me. According to the updated stand. According to the problems that he's had, it makes sense, because he's saying he can't use that backyard at all. And so he just wants to be able to use some more of the side yard.
But
So-
doesn't sound like we're all still on the same page then, unless I'm missing
No,
something.
because I haven't heard anything about changing anything on the easement from what you have submitted. I mean, this is what we
Yeah,
looked at and reviewed, so.
I agree.
So do we,
That's why I'm here.
need as a group to table this? I guess I'm not following, because we would at least need the city
Yeah.
engineer time to review
Yeah.
it. So it's almost
I-
like we gotta get the groups back together and have them talk.
This is one email to Dana, one email from Dana to somebody, and there's nothing in the way here, so I would appreciate it if it could be either approved based on
With the condition.
another
I guess,
plat.
that's my question is. And I don't know, can someone use a pointer and show me what the changes are, or what the difference of what we changed for tonight versus what? Cause that's the water, the line, and we're just moving it out, right? Okay, so go ahead and walk us through this between you and Carson, if you would.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk over here.
Here, Carson,
Here,
here's
Jenna-
a pointer, right?
Yeah, use a pointer. so
Grab that and you can stay by the mic and.
Okay, so his current plan, he just wants 30 feet of easement right there. This plat that is suggested has that 45 feet of easement. So he wants to shrink the easement over, because we already removed this pipe, it was coming down here. So that pipe no longer exists. So he just wants to shrink that down to where he can use it.
But he has seen this layout, right, from the city,
Yes.
and he's still not agreeing with this, or he wants to still make more change.
He can't do anything with any of his extra ground if the easement is at 45 feet. And there is no reason for a 45-foot easement. Yeah,
I mean, we all have easements around our house, so we're,
I know. but
Most
not
of us do,
everybody
right?
has Easements around their house that they, I'm sorry. Not everybody has easements around their house that they can't build a retaining wall on. As a matter of fact, 90% of the hillside residents in Pleasant View have retaining walls built on top of easements. So that's why this whole problem even arose, because he had a retaining wall design, went back 20 more feet, and the city didn't want a retaining wall on the easement.
so this isn't the one that we talked about a
Last
month or
month.
two ago, right?
No,
But it's a similar scenario.
pretty much.
Can we presume
Totally
that the
different.
left side is the downslope? You've got your buildable
The-
area up top and then sloping down to the left?
Pardon, sorry?
Can we presume that you're sloping down to the left from your build area?
Yes.
Carson. Has Dana been contacted about about Tyner wanting to make that change?
I have contact.
So this is completely new to the city, so.
Chair?
Yes.
So, Carson, I understand from your perspective, it's just a quick discussion with the engineer back and forth, and this could be on its way. The problem is, I'm not sure what the new change is going to be. And unless I see that, I don't know what I'm approving, and that's the issue that I'm having right here.
I agree, I agree with that, but let's table it until the next planning commission,
Yeah,
till we can get the changes made.
And that's where I was, when you said, oh, let's hurry and approve it, that's where I was like, I can't approve something I don't know, because I keep asking, because we had something similar to this, and we had to go back and forth a few times, so we could come up with something that met Tyson, engineer, and, you know,
Yeah.
and the petitioner,
Yeah,
and give them really what they wanted, but it doesn't sound like we're all on the same page, so I didn't know, well-spoken was,
it
so,
was just brought to my attention 3 or 4 days ago.
yeah.
And I thought.
So we want to give
this
you
was
what,
on the
and
agenda.
if it's an urgent, mega urgent, I mean, we've been known to call things together, but we are gonna meet again next month, so hopefully, it sounds like this has been going on for quite a while
This-
anyway.
Yeah, that's.
So,
that's-
so I don't wanna prolong it, but,
Yeah,
but I, just to make sure that we give the petitioner what he's asking for, because if we go one way, it may take longer to go back and change it again, right? So
yeah,
I like the idea of potentially tabling the project.
that's
so-
why I didn't want it to be approved as is.
Cause if
That's
you
why
do,
I'm
then
here.
you might be in trouble.
I
Then you have
want
to
it to
start all
be-
over.
Approved based off of staff approval, which is
So,
what we'd have to do to get signatures on anyways.
okay, any other questions for the petitioner? Thank you, Carson.
Thank you.
Discussion for we don't use public hearings, right, since it's administrative.
To do public hearing with the correct.
Oh, so that should have been a public hearing?
No, I'm saying I would wait until you
Yes,
have
it
an
would have been a
accurate
public
map.
hearing.
But it would have to,
Public hearing.
but it should be a public hearing, but
Yes,
since
exactly.
if we decide to if this group decides to table it.
Yeah.
Okay, so we can hold a public hearing, we can still move forward and approve it or deny it, or one thought is to table it, so it'll give our engineer and the petitioner a chance to kind of clean up the map.
Can you have a second public hearing after the change, or?
We can, but we don't have to, so let's just wait till it comes, because I don't know that there's any.
Is
any
anyone here
discussion.
tonight that wanted to discuss?
We can suspend it and hold it, so.
I just wonder out of respect of anybody that came tonight, if there was anyone that
Is there anybody that is dying to talk about this item on the, and we'd open it up?
I personally don't know anything about it.
Okay, then we're,
As a landowner, I'm for the easement.
yeah, but that's what we'll
Yeah.
discuss that. It's why we're gonna have the petitioner staff work on it together. Do we have somebody that'd like to make a motion or which way to go that they'd like to proceed tonight?
I'll make a motion that we, table this item till our December meeting or the next, meeting, so to give the city adequate time to review it, Dana and the petitioner to update their plans.
Thank you. We have a motion to table pending updated maps, petitioner and engineer working together. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's unanimous. Thank you very much. We'll go ahead and move to,
Chair?
yes,
Dean Stokes just texted me and said that he's trying to get on Zoom and is unable to. Sorry. I thought he was out in the parking lot, so maybe he must have left.
his access isn't very good out there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I'll try and watch.
Okay, watch and see if
Get
he.
that on.
All right, we will move to administrative item 2B, subdivision plot amendment, consideration amendment to an approved subdivision plot at 1276 West, 1306 West Fallow Way in Deer Crest Phase 4. Amendment in Deer Crest 6A subdivision. Is that a typo on that? All right, we will go ahead and this will require a public hearing. Oh, I see it in the notes. I missed that. Go ahead and we'll turn the time over to Tammy to present what's before us.
Scroll. So this application has been brought forward to staff requesting a subdivision plat amendment with, the petitioner has asked to adjust the boundary lines on his property. He owns both sides of the, or both two lots side by side right here. And his request is to adjust this property line in between over a bit so that he has more access to the piece that has his house on it for driveway access and that type of thing. So there is an easement between the two pieces. Let's scroll down here again. There's an easement that goes between where the original boundary line is that would need to be vacated. And this has been indicated on the engineer's notes and have been given to the petitioner. But with the public works director and has checked the location of utilities that were intended for this lot 75 and has shown that they are in a position that would still be usable if anyone were to want to eventually build on that lot. So that wasn't an issue. So again, there's red line changes that have been put on the plat from engineering and public works, and those items would need to be addressed before the plat could be recorded and approved, final plat recorded and approved.
So same question as I read through this. We're vacating that spot. I would have thought we'd move the easement over and just basically have it down the line. But where it's just Tyson basically reviewing and says we're still okay, do we still need to have all the utilities, signatures from all the utilities saying I'm vacating that easement?
That would be done, since it wasn't done on this, it would be done at a different time on a different application to vacate. So right now, the easement will stay there.
Okay, so
then-
they're not asking to vacate it at this time. They're
No.
just asking for the lot line, to be moved. So if he wanted to do anything, he still has an
He
easement
wouldn't
that goes
do anything
right,
on it, he
right
would-
through his,
Right.
the middle of his property.
Right.
Okay, now I understand better. Okay, any other questions for staff? Do we have the petitioner here? Can you have you come up and state your name and address for the record, please? We're still figuring it out too, so.
Don Hart, 1276 West Holloway, Pleasant View, Utah. And the lot next to it is also my lot. And I guess I was under the impression if we moved that lot line, like what you spoke, the utilities would move with it. And, I actually spoke to Dana yesterday, and she said that can happen, but that has to be approved through, through the city. I thought when I originally had talked to Garner that that was the indication of how that worked. If I'm moving the property line, the PUE would just move with the property line. And then if I vacated it from there, we just vacate at that point. But since it's not on that, plat amendment, then it doesn't work that way. And so I said, well, I can have them redraw it and do it that way, or the final drawing can show it that way. But either way, I'm not hugely concerned about the PUE, because she said I can vacate that and get it through all the utilities and get them to sign off on it. I'm not planning on building anything that's gonna obstruct that. I'm gonna bring my driveway, like the way my lot sits right now, I got a steep driveway. So if I don't have part of the property next to me, I can't get up with trailers and like what I do now, cause it's just a dirt road, cause it was not finished. It was part of phase 4. But then it turned into part of phase 6. And so in the meantime, there's just a dirt road going up there. I pull trailers up there and, unload them. But, when it became part of phase 6, then I bought it so that I could still have that access. I wanted to be able to have that access. That's why I'm moving the property line. And, so it can go either way. Whether that's move it with the property line and you guys approve it that way. And that's what the final plat shows, and Gardner Reed does it on their amendment with that, or it can stay the way it is and I can just get them vacated after the fact. But I don't plan on building a building over it, and Dana said I can still do a driveway over it. It's not gonna affect anything. So either way, I'm fine with it either way, however you guys would like it to be.
Okay, questions for the petitioner? That would have been my only point making, that's why I was asking the question.
Yeah.
If it doesn't move, then you still have that, and you can't go build a big shop or something on it without, so you need to be aware of
Correct.
that.
And I was kind of the impression is when, that's where the PUE is, where the lot line's already there. Then if it moved over, I was just under the assumption that the PUE would just move with the property line, because why run through the middle of a property?
Yeah,
And she said, well, that's fine, it would just have to be that way, and you guys would have to approve it that way, and then the final drawing from Gardner would just have to show that.
and then you'd have to get all the utilities would have to sign off on it.
Yeah, if I vacate it
if you
from
vacate
there, when it's on the new property line,
Right.
then I would still have to vacate it that way. But then it wouldn't just be running straight through our property, which I kind of thought was weird anyway. So,
Okay, perfect, thank you very much.
okay, thank you, guys.
Okay, we have a item on the docket, any discussion for the commission? If not, does anybody want to make a motion? Oh, yes, please.
Chair, I'll move that we close the public meeting and
Open
convene,
the
or that we go into a public hearing.
We have a motion open for a public hearing. We have a second. I'll second. We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're now in a public hearing. Do we have anybody that would like to address the commission for tonight on this topic? Anybody from the audience? If not, we'll take a motion to close the hearing.
A motion to close the
Jeff,
public hearing?
motions to close. We have a second.
I'll second.
Manya seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Sorry, go ahead with your opposed.
Okay, no opposed. Anybody?
Who was the second on opening the public?
Oh,
Okay.
here, I'm
Thank you.
trying to be better. I noticed I did, so that's why I did on this one. Okay. Discussion. If not, does anybody like to make a motion? Thank you for catching the public hearing.
I would think we would want to secure marketability for both parcels down the road, and I assume they would be if there was sufficient square footage. But maybe that should be part of the motion that we have.
Well, it has to be, or
It has to be.
it has to be, that's why it's already recorded before they can record it, so it's already drawn up and meets the engineers. Otherwise, the engineer, they do have some red line issues that, so I would suggest that whoever makes the motion that we do it based on the red lines from our engineer, that they're approved, right? But yeah, if you look, that we have the proper frontage, he's just moving his over, so. Okay, anybody like to make a motion?
Should we go over the red line issues or just include them in the motion as written, something?
I'm okay with them, but if you'd like to review them or discuss them, we're open to that.
I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of, I can't remember what item number it is on the, but
Should
the,
be. We are the approval body.
oh, I'm sorry, I thought this was a public, oh, sorry, you're right.
We're a yep,
Yeah,
we're the.
that we approve the application from Sean and Taryn Hart for the subdivision plat amendment.
We have a motion to approve, and can we say with the
Oh, with the
Uh,
conditions,
conditions, the red line
Yeah.
as outlined by staff and engineer?
yes.
We have a motion on the table, do we, by Jeff, do we have a second?
Second?
Sean seconds, any discussion on the item? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, it's unanimous, thank you. Okay, we would like to now move to item 2C. That's a site plan, consideration of a site plan for development of a business office yard and shop area for construction business headquarters located approximately 3280 North Highway 89. We'll go ahead, I believe, Tim, you're presenting for this one as well.
Yep.
Run!
Sorry, I was like, but you're stalling.
No, you're good. Okay, the planning commission will discuss and consider an approval for a site plan for the development of a business and office building, including employee and visitor parking and yard and shop area for equipment use, daily operations of construction business headquarters at approximately 3280 North Highway 89. The applicants also have a minor subdivision application that is running concurrently with this. It's currently, and that being a minor subdivision is DRC is the approval body on that. And so that's why you don't have it in your packets and everything tonight. The subdivision, just as a note, includes three parcels that are owned by the petitioner, as well as a parcel that is owned by the city that we are working on getting an appraisal and working with the petitioners to do a property land swap. That's all part of the subdivision. The proposed site plan includes, and in the subdivision, they would be combining all the lots together into one lot. So we did get approval from city council to acquire the appraisal, and so that's all in the process. The site plan has been reviewed, had an initial review from DRC, including the engineer and the public works director. And
Thanks, Carson.
there are, as you have in your memo in front of you that was included tonight, was the engineer's memo with corrections and that are not on the pages in your packet. that, so we didn't have those at the time of putting the packet together. So those are there for your review. The proposed building does meet, the requirements of height and setback and, the site development standards that are in our code. So the comments that we would have would be the civil plan and site plan shows those buildings, parking, driveways, traffic flow, and open space on the site. Parking that is included on the site is approximately 97 standard stalls. One of the comments in, on the red lines and in the memo are regarding the location and number of handicap stalls need to be added to the site plan. The proposed ingress and egress from Highway 89 includes a southbound deceleration lane into the site with with left turn lane and right turn lanes for egress and ingress. There's a cross-access agreement that will be granted for ingress and egress across the portion of the property running along the east side for perpetual use. The cross-access agreement includes access to the city sports park to the north of the site. And that's one of the things, if you look on this map here, or this plan, where the traffic would come in here, instead of having access to the police. Sorry, there's a delay with the scrolling. Instead of having access straight from 89 into the sports park, it would go into the driveway of
So it'd be a shared
the
driveway
business.
in the business and then.
It's their driveway, but they, with the cross-access agreement and the parking agreement, it will be going from their driveway into the sports park. They have also, in this agreement, they will offer shared parking. So for if there's a Saturday event or sports event at the sports park, that can be overflow parking.
Wonderful. Appreciate that.
For
That's
that.
great.
The engineer's memo and plans, with the comments, would need to be addressed prior to final approval. The landscaping, plan shows, limited landscaping because of, the secondary water right now. That's something else that would have to be, final approval and receive, will serves for that. Right now, there's kind of a challenge with getting secondary water over there. So that's one of the things that would need to be taken care of. So staff's recommendation would be, approval contingent on getting all of these items addressed and taken care of prior to the approval.
Okay, any questions for staff? I did ask staff, and I appreciate you explaining to me and the group minor subdivision, because I was not quite understanding how to run those. So that helped clear that up for me. I did look at on our site plan approval required, the site plan shall include landscaping, fences, and walls designed to further the purpose of the regulations for the commercial manufacturing site. Landscaping, I guess, is a big deal for me when we're saying landscaping showing no secondary irrigation, but we required a minimal amount of it. I really appreciate the way the developer created the other building just down the street. I love the way that's finished. The building looks great, the landscaping looks great, but I think we still have a minimal amount of some greenery, some trees, a few things, and I think the city's requirement does require that. So to me, that's something that I think we still should probably require a little bit of their trees or some minor irrigation. So I think that's something that I would like to see them fix or to still work out with the irrigation company. I really appreciate the cross access and sharing the one entrance because I think that's gonna help the traffic flow. And probably a lot of times if you're not using it, they won't be able to use it. This one I'll ask the petitioner for, help me out for the traffic now. I know this kind of follows Little City, but mostly UDOT. That will become quite the traffic going back and forth and trucks coming. And so certain times of the day, you're gonna see a lot of traffic. Just even, we've seen that part of town with the dance studio down there. And now EK Bailey using back behind there, the trucks and the traffic and the cars and everything else, trying to see cars turning across that area straight across from them, the Jacobs Mill subdivision feeding onto 89. I guess that would be something UDOT will have to approve whichever way that left-hand turn into their building or the right-hand turn into their lot could really cause a traffic issue. So do we need to have,
So it has been reviewed by
That's already been
UDOT,
reviewed.
yeah, so that, part of the agreement with UDOT is that we get rid of that access on 89 to the multi-sport park and do a shared access.
Right.
That was required by UDOT itself. Is that where they're going to signalize 89?
no,
Or is it, it's further down?
it's the next
Okay.
one,
Yeah,
which this is where it should be, not the next one up, so.
right. And on a lot of developments, when they review it, if they feel it's necessary, they'll do a right in, right out only. And that wasn't recommended here.
Yeah, that's gonna be a very heavy traffic. Not that I want any medians, but I just looked at the, okay, any other questions for staff?
Future traffic light is not.
No, it is not. It should have been, but we had somebody that pushed for it to be moved. So it's been reviewed several times and they moved it up to the 2 subdivisions up. Okay, if not, do we have a petitioner here that could come speak to it? One of you, we thankful to have all 3 of you here tonight. But if you'd like to state your name and address for the record, please.
Geneva Blanchard, 1352 West, 1050 North, Far West. Thanks for seeing this item. I don't know if you guys want to present questions to me or if I can clarify a couple things.
Clarify, please. Let
Okay.
us know why we should love this project and
Okay.
sell us on it, and then we'll turn the people on for some questions.
One I will hit from the beginning is I don't know where the miscommunication is, but we are providing secondary water. There is a whole landscape plan in, at least what we submitted. We do have a will serve letter from Pine View and we're punching a 1-inch line under Highway 89 and providing that green space.
So we just got to get that as one of the
Yes.
recommended items that'll
Correct.
get cleaned up. Great.
Yeah, so you should have that. That was the main one. UDOT, we do have the approval through UDOT, just waiting for the cleaned up plat, and then we'll record everything through UDOT with their easements and stuff like that. What were the other questions that, I think those were the main ones. but
Those
Matt-
are the main ones. Those are really good. I'm gonna ask you, but I knowing that Brent's sitting right there, so
If this is operations.
this will be a personal one, but I also watch it. I'm watching from the traffic. I actually am up 2 more blocks, and I really appreciate Brent when he heard the issue of the dump trucks running. They were coming straight out across the railroad tracks and up the hill right there on 1500. And I believe your office was contacted and you said, let's stop that. It did mostly. Every once in a while we get the run through. I think my question is, because we still try to funnel trucks through Pleasant View through the truck route, I would hope that Jacobs Mill doesn't become the new shoot across 89 and up. So I
No, I
can't
can-
commit you to anything, but I would hope that both those areas don't become, you know, the quick throughput to get up to the gravel pit or wherever else we're going.
I can answer that on behalf of them. I don't think you have to worry about that.
I see that cross traffic becoming an issue, and so it's less of an issue now that they're not shooting across, so thank you on that, but
Yeah.
if we can do that. Other questions for the petitioner?
Is there gonna be any outside parking for construction vehicles, that sort of thing?
There will be in the back where you see kind of the gravel area. That'll be where, you know, equipment and stuff. And I know there was a comment on the engineer's memo about screening some of that, so we just need to implement. We only got the engineer's memo back on Tuesday, so we'll address all of that, but yeah. There will be.
That's one of my highlighted ones too. I said all outdoor storage shall be screened from view from the use of solid fencing. If you guys,
And you're just
if you're
asking,
addressing that, then
yes, and
yes.
you're just asking for the view of that. It's not screening from front of building, it's just whatever.
Yeah.
And it just is some privacy fence.
I believe so,
guessing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if we just cover that, you might want to just follow up with.
Yeah,
the
and that'll
staff
be
on it.
just a condition of us cleaning up the memo.
hoping that I should allow iron fence.
Yeah.
Put a plastic fence for people to run through.
Well, there's others that have built barbed wire ones and they weren't supposed to move in and then they've moved in and no one ever held them to it, but
Do you,
I do compliment the builder out there because his lots have looked really nice and that's, we're trying to get more of a standard, keep that whole area looking, so.
just a question for thought on that, from a safety perspective. Creating those privacy fences in big manufacturing area or, you know, industrial type areas like that does cause things to climb in and hide from, you know, passers of your police, your your officers, your sheriffs. Is there any sort of thought in your mind of, you know, we do privacy on the edge and the wrought iron in the front so that, you know, when the sheriff drives by, he can see and I know it's a visibility screening thing, but in some of our stuff, it's a security thing. So just a thought, if there's any leniency at all on that.
I think when they put this in originally, I think as part of that, they put that in because it's like hide the stuff behind, you know, the junk
Yeah.
that tends to build up. And I think the purpose of it, but I think we will be entertaining
So if I'm looking at
an
Dana's
adjustment.
memo correctly, it says the open storage area should be screened with a
Correct.
solid 6-foot fence, but she also has that a 6-foot non-climbable fence is required along. Oh, that's
For-
the,
That's-
that's the
yeah.
That's
UP.
the-
I'm
yeah.
thinking it's the UDOT right away.
We're focusing on that one, 'cause
Yeah.
no one sees that, but it being in the M1 zone already, where, you know, it's not it's not like we're adjacent to residential in a subdivision type of thing.
Just across the street.
Across the street, but across the highway to the
It's not
street.
highway. Yeah.
So just a thought that would be, you know, thinking forward in some of that. Cause you have railroad, you have a lot of undeveloped land that trespassers and people and things get back there. So just a thought.
Okay,
General interest question. Are you relocating then off of Washington or are you gonna keep
Correct.
both facilities
Correct.
relocating?
we love it.
Welcome,
Come home.
welcome to
Come
Pleasant
back.
View.
Come back home. We love it.
Will materials be on this side at all, gravel or dirt or
Gravel, dirt and.
materials? Is it just construction vehicles, equipment? There's not gonna be a,
Hundred other big fences. Track, old dump trucks through there, all of that's anything.
do we even have leeway with the fence, the way it's written? It's just,
I wouldn't think you'd want to screen the front of the building.
yeah, I would think it's,
The code requires the 6-foot fence,
Right,
correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
And I don't wanna cause.
Does it,
heartburn
does it
tonight,
require that?
Just a thought.
Look, and I already disclosed my conflict here, because I'm employed by Brent, but does it require, and he and I haven't even had this discussion, but does it require a privacy? I mean, I know it does require the 6-foot, but
It actually says view
Does
through
it?
the use of solid fencing, a
That's
minimum
not
of 6
very
feet
close.
high and be necessary to use as a principal use. Fencing walls should be made of high quality durable materials and require minimum maintenance.
Get too caught on it. It's just a thought that as we were peering through the memo, it's, you know,
That yard. Then 300 feet back.
Well, and that's the other thing is when you're driving up here, if you know, you think about where the other one's sitting down, I mean, you'll be able to see over the top of
Right,
it anyway if somebody's trying to hide from it, so.
oh, yeah, well, not
But-
so much that point, but.
Eventually we'll, that building, so there won't be much of a visual from the street anyway.
Yeah,
The west side of North, whichever you want to call it, is gonna be a drive path, so don't put a park there.
same. Okay, any other questions for the petitioner? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
We need to open for a public hearing, I believe. So do we have a motion to open public hearing?
This is not, it's not listed.
Do we need, but it's an administrative item.
It was noticed
Yeah,
as
it
a
was
public
noticed
hearing.
as
Notice of the public hearing, okay?
Yeah.
So do we have a motion to open public hearing?
I move to open public hearing.
Okay, we have a motion open. Do we have a second?
Second.
Sean seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, we have an open for a public hearing. Do we have anybody from the audience that would like to address the site plan that is being presented tonight?
My name is Craig Erickson.
Can you come up for the mic? We just need to get on record, or I can bring the mic to you if you'd like. We just need, they get mad at me if I don't speak into the mic and I have it on the record, so, and then we are recording.
My name is Craig. Eric, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
I've known Brett for a long time. I own the land. We saying that way south, south of this. And, I think first of all, Brent built that warehouse down the road. He built a lot of buildings. He built nice ones. I think you need to cut him some slack on some of this stuff. One of them is landscaping. Well, you got to realize one of these days you're dumping this on your kids. No water. Don't make them put much in landscaping. Then you put some rocks down and some trees. Nothing that takes a lot of water. But that's just waste. One of these days that water will be needed for your kids. So, and Fancy, he'll take care of it. He's got millions of dollars of equipment. He wants it secure. And I'll tell you right now, we're not secure down there. I won't go into my security system, but I can tell you right now that people still go through there, and I do still call the cops. And the last one that came through my place got caught by the cops. So he's gonna have the same problems as I do. My driveway's a dead end
Mhm.
down at the Bureau Test. And basically, the only place you my property is right in the middle. That access right there was the first access. I've owned that property 25 years, so. They'll go down there because they have to. Because it's the only place unless you're gonna go over my 6-foot high chain link fence. But they'll do it, they'll come right down it, and it is legally posted. But he's gonna have problems with fences and all that. Let him do whatever he needs to protect his property, especially that equipment. You go out there and go try and rent a piece of equipment and
Oh,
typically
he has
$500.
He has good stuff.
Nothing.
Yeah, he has good stuff.
So cut him some slack on that. And him and we've got some things that we need to do together, but we're working together. We talk to each other. We're on a first name basis and have been for a long time.
Good.
So,
We appreciate when the adjacent property owners can work together, so that helps our job.
we're gonna work together and we're not gonna have any problems. But just one of my main concerns is the water. Because you don't realize how water is a problem for us right now, always have. You've had, along Highway 89 in front of Benson line. Go along there and see where the ditch is at, because most of the places have been filled.
Mhm.
So the water, a lot of the water that didn't used to be on his property is going on his property, and some of it's going on mine, but we're working that out. We'll be okay. But that's one of the things is you got to stop people from just doing it. And if you go along there, I don't remember the road down there, but the DOT made them put a concrete pipe in it, but it doesn't do any good when you got 50 or 100 feet of dirt on the other side of the street, and that's the way it is. Like that water retention basin across the street, overflow drain is the highest thing over there. How much water's gonna go in that overflow? Not one drop. I called the DOT, they came out, they let them do it. And I don't know why, I've seen some people, I won't mention names, they just do what they want.
Yeah.
And,
Well, that's why, and we appreciate your comments on that, because that's why our group is to look out for the ordinance. For the water issue, we need to follow the code. This group follows the code that's presented. There can always be asked for, changes to it. That's why we have different commissions, and we can always petition to have a few of these things changed and brought before the committee or the council. I love the way they have landscaped the large warehouse down the street, very minimal, but they also keep it weed free, and they put it in properly, so I believe it's gonna stay looking nice for a long
well,
time.
he owns part of
So-
the building. So it's gonna be a
Oh, yeah.
spot.
Well, he lives here too, so he wants to keep it looking nice. So, thank you. I appreciate the comments.
Any other questions for me?
Any questions? Okay, do we have anybody else from the audience that would like to address this? Okay, hearing none, do we have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Monion's made a motion to close. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Sean. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We are now closed in the public hearing. Discussion items, questions, thoughts?
I'm just wondering, it does mention in the site plan review, some of the parking for the multi-sport park. Are you in favor of that, or are you gonna fence off your area during recreational events, or what do you?
They're off of business hours, so not during business hours. So 5:30 to 8 Saturdays.
Okay, but you're not really gonna have a fence to prevent it.
Which, there's a couple of sports parks down in Kaysville that do the same thing. It's right next to the construction, and it's very nice. So we appreciate you doing that. Because
We don't have any. Our access is 100 feet out of park access.
yeah,
Okay, I just wondered if you're okay, we're okay, but I wanted.
yeah, that's part of the agreement in there, so that's great. I love it.
Yeah, just to show you here on their plan, they've got this fence right here is where it goes back into their yard. So all of this is open to parking.
Sean, you had a comment?
It was mentioned that a landscaping plan was submitted. Has staff seen that?
Yeah, there were some questions, I think, it's basically it's on here somewhere, but there are pages and pages. But it's basically this plan, and Geneva, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what we were looking for was the irrigation showing, I don't think it shows the irrigation.
Just the irrigation plant, like the actual drip system.
Just show where the water lines come in for the,
It's on the simple.
okay.
Yeah, there's a 1-inch line pulling from 1325 under Highway 89, stubbing into the property.
But-
Yeah, it's not the simple set. This is the-
Like I said, there's lots of pages.
And that was shown behind you. That's how we got those sick.
But as far as our code goes, staff's looked at it, landscaping complies.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dana did mention from the, she says storm drain collection plan seems lacking.
And there are quite a few items still that will have to be addressed, and you've seen the engineer's comments. So if we were passing this, it would be contingent on staff and the engineer's requirements. They would not provide a building permit until all those items were met.
Can I ask one more question?
Mhm.
Okay, so this is related, but not directly related to this particular application, but it applies. So we've been looking and working with UTA on the Front Runner corridor going north. So I'm guessing that telling UTA that that's now going on the west side of the tracks. Is that correct? Because we're seeing a lot of development on the east side coming right up to that line.
We actually had a meeting with UTA on Monday and pointed out this property specifically.
Okay,
And so nothing currently on the site plan interferes with their plan.
okay.
And they were given contact information, so that they've been in touch with Geneva on this.
Good. I would just hate for them to come back and to purchase property that's been developed, and if they can secure that corridor on undeveloped property, it's so much better for everyone.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. On that east side.
But,
right?
but remind me, because I know we asked the exact same question on the back side of the warehouse between that, that you couldn't build on it, right?
Property, we reached out to PTA with Gail, and she said, nope, we don't have funding for it, don't worry about it. And then when we knew they were meeting with the city, I reached out to Gail on Tuesday, and she's like, well, we're looking at designs, we'll get your input. So we're well aware of it, should they decide to design on it.
With the warehouse down there, is there any space, did you leave space for it, or is there? I mean, would they still be able to squeeze it in on that west side?
I think they're all squeezing in because
That's why I thought you left something, but I mean, it wasn't for us to decide that, but.
that area, and that pond comes within 30 feet of the property line, but the rest of that is vacant ground.
Right, okay.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, do we have someone that would like to make a motion? My only request from my standpoint is that we make sure that we include the engineering notes and the staff notes. And then we also basically say that the staff reviews the final landscaping plans and a will letter for with the Pine View to make sure that we have that on record. Anybody'd like to make a motion?
So Jeff, I guess you're not going to vote on it, but is it appealing to you?
Yeah, my office is gonna be right there. It's it's gonna be a great project.
Nice building now. Not gonna be upside, we're gonna build it right side up.
Sorry about that. There we go. There we go.
Yeah, that whole second floor is my office.
Would that be right on the corner too? Yeah, that's like right there.
Oh, I get the handicap.
Well, that's why we're asking for the handicap stalls, but you didn't put them in. Okay, do we have someone that'd like to make a motion for tonight?
I move to approve the site plan as proposed, contingent upon meeting the specific items on the, I guess we call it the subdivision review based by the city engineering department and the city and the staff, and also including the question that the staff would review the landscape plan at that point.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Manya, second. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? For the record, Jeff is abstaining from voting for this item. Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome back. Keep coming to Pleasant View. We like all what you're doing with us and working with us. So thank you for joining us tonight. Our next item of business is it jumps to item 5, a legislative item. We will be opening for a public. It's a general plan amendment, consideration of a city proposed amendment to general plan to include a water use and conservation element in accordance with the Utah Senate Bill 110 in the 2022 general session. I would like to, we're actually moving a lot faster along than I anticipated so far. We're a little bit behind the estimated, but I would like to ask if we could adjourn, if anybody would humor me for it. For some reason, I did not get the entire packet of printout. I would like to suggest we adjourn for just 10 minutes unofficially, and I don't know if we,
You recess?
We recess. There we go. Excuse me, wrong wording. See,
Don't
I'm
adjourn.
still
I
learning.
was all for it.
I would,
If you
I would,
adjourn, I'm going
I would
home.
suggest that we recess and just turn off the mute the recording. Allow me a few minutes to review some of the notes that I didn't make through this morning, so we could still move forward this. I just feel happier if I could.
I
take a few
didn't get a
minutes.
copy of the attachments. They didn't seem to download with the.
They just handed it out, so. Okay, with that, and, do I have a motion to adjourn? I'm gonna make to recess. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by David. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
10 minutes after 7. We will connect back up together. Thank you. Is that one? David, no one got it, so that's why we're taking. a
Yeah,
minute.
thank you. Okay, I'm glad I could. I look.
Okay, close enough time. Okay. It was 7:10, we'll call the quorum back together, begin our discussion of item number 5. We'd like to turn the time over to Linda to present the proposed general plan.
So in the 2022 general session of the legislature, your local representative Ryan Wilcox and another senator presented a legislative bill regarding water conservation talk. I should just have Mr. Erickson come up and present this for me. Because honestly, several years ago, when I heard people talk that way, I thought, oh, they're crazy. There's water, right? There's not. And Weber Basin Water does a watershed tour that takes you up to all the reservoirs and explains a lot of things to you. They do that every other year. I attended that this year, and it's very eye-opening on the issue at hand. You know, if we want water for the future, we're gonna have to do something to conserve it now. The legislative bill that was passed requires each city to incorporate a water conservation and plan into their general plan. So I'm glad that you took the time to read that. I apologize that it somehow didn't get attached into the packet with the rest of the staff report. So this goes through and talks about what we as a city can do and should do to help with the water conservation efforts. It talks about how how our water is obtained and how it can be obtained in the future. We have some wells now, and we take a very small percentage from Weber Basin. In the future, we do have a contract that would allow us to obtain more water from them if needed. Our water conservation plan, which was approved by the city council several meetings ago, is incorporated into this. We're required to have one with the size of city that we are. And our water conservation plan covers how many gallons of water per capita per day, which we're sitting at 57.47 gallons from our 2024 study. Weber Basin was just a little concerned with that number because the bill also required us to reach out to the different stakeholders with the water and coordinate with them on this element. They were just a little concerned that our 57 gallons a day only accounts for inside culinary water. We don't account for the secondary water that we're using. And the state has set goals to include all of that as a water consumption level that we're trying to reduce. So that is something that we're gonna have to look at in the future, assessing, you know, what we're putting out as secondary water as well, because we're well below the state required level of gallons per capita per day, but that's only counting the culinary water. We don't have a finger on what we're doing outside, which is a lot of people use a lot of water outside. So
Can
we
I
need to
ask
be aware of that.
what was that based on? It says that in 2050, we anticipate 21,282. What are we at currently, population wise?
We're just around 12,000.
12,000.
So the element that is proposed to be recommended to the city council today incorporates all of it, checks off all the boxes that the state has required in the bill. But from this point going forward, there are things that need to be considered by the city, and that would be more water-wise ordinances, maybe a change in landscaping ordinances and requirements. And then it goes through what we are currently doing. We do try and do public education and outreach. We do have a increasing water rate schedule, so the more you use, the more you pay. And then our self-read meters are metering and leak detection. So they'll alarm or they'll notify the city if they sense that this is high water usage for a particular home. So that we can get on that rather than that being a continuing problem for several months at a time. So we're trying to hop on that. For the city itself, we've transitioned over to smart timers that won't water after a storm. They've put water smart plumbing in, so sensor type fixtures in the restrooms. So they'll turn off rather than somebody, you know, turn it on, leave it on and walk away. And then, they just continue with an Ion Water app, and I'm not really clear what that is. I'll have to do some more research on that with, Tyson, but the recommendation would be to recommend approval of this to the city council. I believe we have a public hearing on it tonight because it's a land use item in the general plan. And then as we move forward, look at those different ordinances, look at the different ways that we can affect change in our water conservation and our water use habits.
Okay, before I jump into some of my questions, so basically, it's the items in green, just the green pages are what gets adopted into the,
Yes.
it's not the analysis, but it's basically the.
Yep, just the ones with
And
community sustainability.
and
on,
mostly,
like,
most part, most of this is, it's not a hardcore ordinance, it's a guideline, which our
Correct.
general plan is a guideline. And then when we look at our ordinances, we should look at this, how to adapt that into the study.
That's correct, yes.
Is this developed by the city staff or the county? Is this kind of one thing or the?
No, I developed it myself.
Seems like it was.
Yeah, and I referenced our water conservation plan a lot so that it was, you know, in conjunction with that. So we didn't have conflicting things in our water conservation plan as our general plan.
Appreciate that. A lot of work.
I mean, I will say I pulled from several different cities. You know, some cities have 50-page water conservation plans and some have a 1-page front and back. So I kind of tried to take what was best for us and put it all together.
Questions for staff?
Just noting on the graph, it appears that 2040 is where we exceed an efficient use of our water. So that's 15 years away. We're gonna be having some more serious discussion.
Right, and that's why we need to make changes now.
So there's a few of them, I have just more clarification for myself, the last item on, item 3 under policies says require new developments to contribute water to increase the supply of water as needed. How could you even do that? I mean,
What is
I mean, years and years and years ago, when it became legal fights, they said, well, you have water rights, you gotta turn that in, or we can't hook you up to Pine View, or, you know, whoever.
I mean, and
what-
essentially they are, like, Bailey has to turn over water rights to Pine View in order for them to connect them to that system. So essentially we are doing that currently.
Okay, I didn't know if that's counted by turning over water rights, cause I'm going, how do they contribute to water increased supply? I mean, really, I guess it's.
So
we're
that
giving our
they're
supply.
having to buy water shares? Is that what
Yeah,
that is?
I mean,
And
it
then,
depends on the particular developer, you know, whether they came with the land or if they have to go out and buy those shares
yeah,
to turn them in for access to that secondary system.
Hold on, we're not in public hearing yet, just a minute. Number 4, the third one down on number 4 is reduce the amount of water used to irrigate park strips within the city through elimination of overwater. I'm okay with the practice, but I hate the idea of reducing the amount of water used in irrigation strips. I mean, I'm so opposed to rock gardens, so I'd strike that whole sentence if it was me, but I'm usually a minority because it doesn't take much water to grow puncture weeds. And we've had several people that try to grow rocks and it becomes puncture weeds and they are just nasty. I would strike that part out of there. I don't agree with that part of it. That's money for the record.
Which from my understanding, I believe that part of a proposed ordinance
It's probably a state order.
failed pretty hard. So,
That from the state? So
no,
is that-
from the city, before I came, I believe there
Oh.
was an
Someone came-
ordinance brought forward
We've
and
had people come and say mandate rocks and eliminate that, and it was, no. So to me, I'd still strike that one, because every developer's gonna see that and say, oh, great, let's just cement it, or rather have cement than to have,
Well, you
than
know,
rocks.
truthfully, and I only say this because I noticed this from experience, I have neighbors that have put in rock, you know, want to conserve water and they still have plantings all throughout there and they're still watering their rocks. And and I don't know that they're really using any less water than they were before. And then just, you know, down the street from my house, to your point, I have a huge detention pond that, you know, I mean, it's the size of a lot and, you know, it's very rarely maintained by the city. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody, but it's just not puncture weeds everywhere along that, the irrigation system along there, I think they usually do the big rotors rather than the little sprinkler heads. And so the park strip just doesn't get watered, irrigated, and all that grows there is just weeds and they grow all over the place. And it looks terrible. But I mean, you know, so, I mean, something could be done, I think, but, you know, and part of me wonders, you know, if from a development standpoint, you know, cause you have this big retention that's basically a third of an acre, probably more than that, honestly. And I'm just talking about one on my street, right? If you don't, I don't know if you can mandate it, but encourage more like the storm tech systems. I get it, they're expensive. But then you have less grass to water. Now you can actually have probably have another lot there, to be honest with you. But anyway, I don't know, I'm just thinking out loud.
And then the other one, what is it, 5, that says promoting strategies for the health of Weaver Basin watershed, including Pine View Echo. How do you, I mean, that's almost, I guess I look at things from a business standpoint, I'm going, well, we're writing that down, so we almost have to go out of our way to promote anything we can for those areas. I mean, are we really gonna do that as a city?
So our
Or is this-
watershed comes from these
I'm
places.
not saying it isn't, but we're writing that in there that we're going to promote
Right,
healthy
so-
conditions. So are we gonna be advertising, or do we have to come up with advertisement dollars?
I mean, if you want to change the word, but basically it's trying to get people to use less
Well,
of that outdoor water.
I'm not arguing that point. So I said, I'm purely looking from what's our obligation as a city? You put that in there, so does that mean, well, you didn't promote these reservoirs and
If you want to put encourage rather than promote, I'm happy to change it.
I guess that's just stood out to me. That's just some of my,
No, and that's fine. I'm open to suggestions. It's
I
not.
just don't know, what
This is why
what are
it's
we,
here for your.
that's why we're all talking, and that's why what's our obligation, I guess, if we put it that way, are we obligated to anything if someone comes back, well, you didn't do that, I'm going, oh, that's me, I'm getting nitpicky. Thoughts?
Can I ask a general question? You've got on here identifying land uses with high water consumption. Just wondering what you might be having in mind there.
Can you tell me what section that's in, just so I can?
It's 3,
Okay.
second bullet. Pleasant View has some of the most lovely lawns of any place I know of. And in fact, I was traveling in, you know, by Yellowstone and some biker dudes were in the hot tub with me. And I wasn't, you know, part of their conversation, but I overheard the conversation and they said, you know, we drove through Pleasant View on our way here. Those are the most incredible yards I've seen in any community. That was before the drought, you know, and I know that a lot of our lawns went to pot 2 or 3 years ago. Mine is still recovering. But anyway, we waste a lot of water on Kentucky bluegrass, which is not designed to live in the desert. They have a water conservancy district down in West Jordan, a whole park that's dedicated to different types of turf that are much more efficient than Kentucky bluegrass at using water. I would like to encourage some of that.
Weber Basin Water actually has a learning
Yeah,
garden that you
do.
can go and actually look at the different types of grasses that are more apt to thrive in our environment with less water.
And I wonder if we couldn't have something like that. I mean, and, you know, particularly we have some of the largest lots in Weber County as well. There's just no point in having a half-acre turf. It's a huge waste. If we include our Pine View into our daily consumption, it's going to skyrocket.
Right. And we should be including that because that's the true picture of it. But when you talk about identifying land uses with high water use, there's one thing that comes to mind, and it's not from here. I haven't looked at our water report line by line in detail. But every year, a credit union in Far West is using a ridiculous amount of water. We going through like that, why is a credit union using so much water, you know, with minimal landscaping out
Right.
front? So it'd be identifying those uses and seeing if we could go connect with a business and figure out why a credit union is using so much more water than, say, Associated Foods down the street.
Well,
So, yeah.
on the plus side, can I say Pleasant View has some of the best tasting water in the world. I've traveled fairly extensively and, I mean, even in Weber County, you go to South Ogden and the water tastes awful.
It's not as good as it used to be until we
It's
started
funny
buying.
you say
other
that, because we've had so many people say that very thing to us.
Yeah,
I mean, like in our house, like your water just tastes different.
it's delicious.
Kind of along, oh, say Sean or John, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, John.
The third one down in number 3 where it says, no, this is support the decrease lot sizes and configuration standards. Yes, for secondary water, that can be ineffective, but it's gonna be counter to our.
This is against
our
general
water.
plan.
So I would probably strike that sentence.
I missed that, but I would strike that.
I think I'd strike that specific sentence.
Unless there was a specific requirement on that one. Because that kind of, we have specific spots throughout
We address that.
in the zoning type of thing, but this is almost, and we're gonna encourage higher density. Which is
Which-
not
which
necessarily
can-
our general plan, right?
It's right, it's not a general plan, and it can be counter to saving water as we bring more.
But there are
Or
other
people,
uses
yeah.
besides just turf, you know, we can still have
Yes.
large lots without encouraging that it all be in grass.
On top of the hill where it's 5 acres, but they can only develop so much of it, right?
We need to encourage that. Other things, orchards even, or a more efficient use, even a pond is more efficient use of water because it has less surface area than grass. Every blade has surface area. And actually just a body of water sitting in your yard is less, it's gonna evaporate less water than a lawn would of the same area.
John?
I'll have to address.
Okay. We need to open for a public hearing. We have a motion to open public hearing.
I'll motion that we open a public hearing.
We made a motion, David, to open the public hearing. We have a second.
I'll second it.
Jeff, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hey, anybody from the vast audience? I'm gonna let you just sit there, Mr. Erickson. Thank you for hanging out with us, but it's good topic you brought up tonight, huh?
Well, history, so you know where, what you said that, I've been here 5 years. Before, when I built down there, you had to have water meters in order to build. And that ain't good for people wasting water, it just promoted it. And we need to get back going the other way, because you younger people, you're gonna see that water go sky high, it's gonna be like gold.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Anybody else from the audience who would like to discuss tonight? Okay, hearing no more comments, we'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing?
Jeff's made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
One second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is closed. My comments, I really like it. I agree with the striking the supporting decreased lot sizes. I'm okay with the others. They were explained to me, we're okay. Interesting how we could supply more water. I guess the question is more conservation rather than supplying water, because short of digging wells, there's really no new watersheds out there, right? So I don't know how that really contributes to water increase, but other discussions, thoughts?
Did you want to change the word promoting or promoting strategies
I would prefer that,
to encourage?
to encourage,
Okay.
yes. I don't think it holds us to, I mean, it really doesn't change that much, but it doesn't, if someone comes back, well, you didn't promote it, I'm like, Oh, you were obligated, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
legalese, thank you for catching that.
Yep.
And we are recommending to the city council on this tonight. Do we have anybody else who would like to make any changes?
Well, I
Make a
know
motion.
you and John both suggested a couple of things
And we talked about striking the reduction,
Section 3.
supporting
bullet point.
decreased spot sizes, striking that. And then, I think we're okay on the other unless we want to change the park strip boarding and the park strip one. Reducing the amount of water used to irrigate park strips within the city through elimination of overwatering. How do you, I don't say enforce that, or what wording would you even change?
Education. But that's how if I was trying to meet that, I don't know another way to.
Do you say within the city through education to elimination of overwatering, or, that doesn't.
I mean, I
fit.
read that as that we're worried about people watering the road and the sidewalks and all that. So yeah, the question is, how do we help people put in the proper sprinkler system so that doesn't happen? Like, do we have a plan?
I actually like this better now that I'm reading it 2 or 3 more times.
Mhm.
It doesn't say eliminate
No,
grass or
we
eliminate
just don't want them to waste it.
the different, little areas, but it's saying minimize the overwatering, right? So whether it's the, like you're saying, the plants, or whether it's overwatering the sidewalk in the street. I think that's more of an education. I like that, because this doesn't say eliminate it.
And it doesn't require enforcement.
There are some cities in Utah that have very limited days that they can water. My mother-in-law can only water once a week.
Yeah,
That's their water turn.
some of them don't have the secondary water, and that's the issue for some of them, so. Okay, good work. Thank you. Do we have anybody who would like to make a motion on the proposed general plan amendment of additional water use?
I'll make
Okay.
make a motion that we, approve the,
Recommend.
or recommend, to city council what we calling this, the water conservation and land use planning for the general plan, to be included with the general plan with the noted changes that, I think it was just the one, right?
Yeah.
There's
Two.
two? Oh,
And change one word.
oh, that's right. Okay, yeah.
Okay, we have a motion to recommend adoption of the addition of water use and conservation element. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a second by Sean. Motion by Jeff. Any discussion on the item? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? It's unanimous on the vote. Okay, commission business. Do we have anything that needs to be brought up for the next month?
Are we having a holiday get together? We have had sometimes.
That was gonna be a staff thing, I'm sure, but
Just
I was
gonna
just
say
gonna
what
ask-
party.
Oh,
how is December? We gonna have a good audience? Do we look like we have much on the dock for December?
Well, I think as of right now, we just have a couple things.
Probably Carson coming back.
Yeah.
huh?
We have that one at least.
Back. So maybe 3 things.
Okay.
Um,
I know
Nothing
I'm gonna
else?
be gone.
as preliminary subdivision that will be coming for December, but let's see. Yeah, so open for suggestions on holiday party plan. Everyone wants to just like look at your calendar and see what it looks like. If we want to try and do it early in the month, that's usually easier,
Haven't
I
we
think.
done it more close to Thanksgiving in prior years?
Yeah,
So we're getting pretty close to that.
yeah, it's coming fast.
I wish we would do it on a different night than the actual planning
I was
commission.
gonna say, we've done that before too, where we do the planning commission I don't know, we do a quick cleanup and then hurry and do it if there's other business, or do we want to do that and then go right into business? Or just do it on a separate night?
And last year, I think we had a second, it was on a night when we had a special
That's right.
meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a little tricky, but it worked out, so. I'm open to whatever, we can do it on a different night, or we can do it after planning commission on the 4th.
I'm gonna be out of town, so I would hope we do it some
Okay,
other.
so we're doing it on a different night.
Do you want to pick a couple, we've got a couple that aren't here tonight.
Yeah.
Do you want to just
I'll
pick a couple dates and throw it out and just say, and then if everybody would respond quickly, that would
Yeah.
just say, hey, this one works, this one doesn't, and compile it and just let's do
Yeah.
the best we can to get as many people there.
I will do
So-
that.
Pretty much catered, or at least it was in prior years.
Yeah.
Is that?
That's what we plan
Yeah,
on doing.
keep
so.
it simple. It's just more of a, have a chance to sit and visit. We
Even
appreciate the staff helping us out.
Spouses, partners invited.
Yes,
Okay,
and on that, as far as, I think to everything. Congratulations to Commissioner Wilkinson.
I'm not congratulating.
I'm telling you.
I'm still trying to tell him to turn in his,
But we're not happy.
we're
about
telling him to
it.
turn his resignation into that group before he accepts it, so.
Can he serve on both?
No, we're so proud of him, joining the city council, and then we're all gonna watch to see how he votes on our stuff that we turn into.
He may be wanting to come back, I don't know.
So, no, we do, we will miss him, and, we do get you for another month, I think, before you're officially out of the way, so we appreciate that, and, we're always glad to see someone graduate from this up to the big leagues, right?
Glutton for punishment.
So, all right, no other business, make a motion, we adjourn, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, everybody, seconded that one.